Going live. Going live. Fuck it. Let's go live. Fuck it. Fuck it. Just like what Bill O'Reilly said. Yeah, I've been keeping myself busy today, lately. The past couple days have been great, especially today. Temperature was in the 70s. I went out and I cleaned off the front porch. I scrubbed because we got Trex. I got Trex on my front porch. You know, that recycled milk bottle wood. Over time in the winter, it was developing mold, and I needed to scrub it out. And plus, I cleaned the siding off on the front because the siding was pretty dusty and pretty nasty looking. So I did that. I mixed up some Simple Green and I had myself a deck brush, and I cleaned and hosed off the front porch and the siding, which was pretty good. And then I've been trash picking lately. It's the springtime. Um, my city doesn't have spring cleanup anymore, but the nearby city does. So that's what I've been doing. I've been going to the nearby city to trash pick and scrap. Um, I got some pretty good scrap scores, even though um, the scrap prices are just terrible right now. In one trash, I found three bags of crushed aluminum cans and a bunch of wire. Um, Shit, I made about 10 or 15 bucks off that one garbage, which was pretty awesome. Um, I sold two grills. Um, those those grills, the gas grills, those things. Honestly, if you're gonna buy a grill, a brand new grill, make it worth your while. Spend the extra money and get a halfway decent gas grill. Do not get anything that's too cheap, because I've been seeing these grills people throw out, and these grills are less than 5 years old. And by the time the grills are done for, they're pretty much trashed. You see these $300 plus grills out there, these stainless steel ones. When you lift up the hood, boy, they get bad. Um, I think the best gas grill, one of the best gas grills ever made, was the earlier Weber Genesises, and what's that, Weber Spirit or Weber Silver. They made them almost the same from 1985 all the way up until the early 2000s. Those grills, whenever I find them on the side of the road, you would take them flavorizer bars off the burners, and you would look at the burners, and the burners all the time mostly just look perfect. There's no rot on them. Those burners are made with good metal, and those grills were engineered properly by barbecue experts and people on the Weber Company staff. Those grills were awesome. And if you find a used one out there, if you want to fix it up, if you want to restore it, there's plenty of parts available, and they're cheap too. But anyways, if you're buying a gas grill, do not get the cheapest thing. Invest a little bit of money and buy a halfway decent one that's going to last you for years instead of less than 5. Um, I was watching a video on YouTube the other day, and this guy was talking about these barbecue pits that he makes. And there was one that a customer brought in, and this pit, it was like halfway rotted because the customer neglected it. Usually, you're supposed to clean your barbecues out like at least once a year before the barbecue season starts. Because if you leave all the crud in there, that crud is acidic and it just eats away the metal. So yeah, clean your barbecue out, and if you're in a shop, or if you're in a market for a halfway decent, if you're in the market for a gas grill, buy one that's halfway decent. Do not buy anything that's just too cheap, because you'll be replacing it within 5 years. Anyways, these barbecues that I picked up, I'm sorry I rambled on about gas grills. These barbecues I picked up, there was they're charcoal grills, huge charcoal grills. I think they're called smoker charcoal grills. I picked a couple of those up. The first one I picked up was a pretty nice one. It was a Master Forge, and it had a good charcoal grate in it, even though the charcoal grate was a little bit rusty. The charcoal grate didn't have any thinning on the metal or anything. It was in decent shape for a charcoal grate. And that grill was pretty solid. It looked pretty nice on the outside, but the ash pan was rotted out. It had some soft spots. So I cut a piece of aluminum trim and I fixed that part. I fixed the ash pan. And then later on, I found some galvanized sheet metal, and I put a layer of galvanized sheet metal on the bottom too. So there's two layers of metal on there. And I cleaned that grill up, and I sold it for $50. And that grill at Lowe's. It's about $191 brand new. And then the second grill I picked up was this Char-Broil charcoal, but the metal was solid. And I cleaned that one up really good. I took it, got it all really nice, and it turned out really nice, even though the outside looked like shit. So a couple guys from Kenosha down there, south of here, a couple black guys, they came and got it. They paid me my price, no questions asked. And I was a little bit worried when they came here because I said in the posting, you must need a truck or van to haul it. But they didn't come with a truck or van. That thing is not going to fit in there, but we got it to fit in there. It fit in there just fine. We had to take the lid off, which was maybe a couple minute job. But yeah, I mean, he found mine and he bought mine, so they got themselves a good grill, even though it's rusty. There's no holes in it or anything. Other than that, I found two perfect Weber kettle grills for 40. I got a brand new charcoal grate in the garage I'll throw on it. It's missing the ash, it's missing the charcoal grate, but I got a spare one around. That's the one thing to do if you're in. I specialize in selling used Weber kettle grills that I find on the side of the road. I clean them up and I can get $20 or more for them. And there's a lot of them that are just fine. Um, the older ones have wooded handles. The older ones, the wooden handles may be grates, ash pans, things like that. I save because you're gonna find another grill down needs the charcoal grate, which I got, and plus my neighbor gave me his old Weber grill, which is a piece of junk, and that one has the ash pan I need. So yeah, that's great. Also 40, 50, 60, 70. $70 on those Weber grills. Once I sell them, I'll be earning. And then I got three nice bikes outside. Um, I used to buy and resell and flip. I used to buy and flip bicycles all the time over 10 years ago, but not so much anymore. Sometimes when you find these Walmart bikes in the garbage, they're perfect. They're in perfect shape. They just need maybe something tightened down. And I pick them up and I may spend like an hour on them. And then I could flip them for, and then I could flip them for $30 or more. Because people are always looking for cheap bikes. 78 or 77 Mercury Cougar. That car spent its whole life in Wisconsin. He bought it brand new. And the car looks perfect. He's very meticulous about it. He ordered it without air conditioning, surprisingly. He drives it around once in a while now. He's been driving his newer Toyota lately, street or on the curb for free. So he texted me about it, and then I finished up what I was doing, and then when I went out, and then I went out there to check it out, and I looked at it, and I was just like, this thing doesn't look too bad. And I had to go back home and unload my truck so I could load up the lawnmower. So I came back, and there was like 3 or 4 teenage boys that helped me load up the riding lawnmower in the back of the truck. And I strapped it down because I could not close my gate to haul it. I had to strap it. It wasn't that hard because I had the gray truck, and the gray truck sits lower because it's two-wheel drive rather than the red truck, which is four-wheel off the bed of the truck. Um, if it was any heavier, I probably would have gotten help. Throwing around those big drifts of snow, the engine gets a little bit stressed out, and of course, it uses oil. So yeah. Hopefully, I'm gonna once I get the yard situated and my garden planted, I could start to look at that lawn tractor more.